안녕하세요. 저는 캐나다에서 태어나고 자란 중학교 2학년 조스핀 킴이라고 합니다. 이제 곧 알버타 주정부 총선이 다가오는데요. 어느 때보다 정치적인 갈등이 많은 이때 학교 선생님들이나 주변 사람들의 의견을 듣는 것도 너무 중요하지만 제가 직접 알아보는 것도 중요하다고 여겨졌습니다. 오늘은 알버타 고등교육부 장관을 맡고 계신 디미트리오스 니콜라이디스를 만나게 되었습니다. 니콜라이디스 장관은 한인들이 상당히 많이 살고 계신 Calgary-Bow 지역구의 주의원이신데요. 오늘은 장관이 아닌 다가오는 provincial election의 보수당 후보로 함께 해주셨습니다. Hello, Minister. Thank you so much for agreeing to meet me today. Would you like to say hello to the Korean Canadian community in Alberta today?
I would absolutely love to. I'd love to be able to maybe say hello in Korean. How do you say hello in Korean?
안녕하세요.
That's going to be a little bit difficult.
안녕. 하.
안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. Okay, that's maybe a little bit better. I don't think I did it as well as you did. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Your Korean is absolutely incredible. I have two young daughters myself. I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I hope when my 8-year-old is 14 like you, she can speak Greek as fluently as you can speak Korean.
Thank you.
Very well done. And yes, I just want to say a quick hello to the members of the Korean Canadian community in Alberta and right here in Calgary-Bow. Over the past few years, I've had the fortune and honor of meeting so many of you in our communities, whether that's in West Springs, in Cougar Ridge, in Aspen, and in other areas. So want to say a quick hello and thank you for taking the time to watch this video today.
I remember you visited the Calgary Korean School before. My parents forced me into Korean school, and I'm honestly so glad that they did. Did your parents ever force you into Greek school?
Oh gosh, yes. Yes, they did. I think I know a little bit about what you're going through. But firstly, yes, it was an honor and a privilege to visit the Korean school that was at the Calgary French International School, and there were so many enthusiastic people there, and it was really encouraging and exciting to see a lot of young people getting together to learn more about their language, their culture, their history, their traditions. And yes, I'm born and raised here in Calgary. My parents are originally from Cyprus. It's a small Greek island in the Mediterranean. And when we were growing up, they wanted us to learn about our history, language, culture, tradition. And in Wildwood, we have a Greek Orthodox church, and in the basement, we have a classroom, and we have several schools there. So growing up, the same kind of thing. My parents said, you have to go to Greek school, you have to learn the language, you have to learn the culture and the traditions. I'm glad they did, because it helped me learn a lot about my own culture, my own traditions, my own history, but also the language. And now, as I mentioned, since my parents forced me, I'm now going to force my two young daughters, my 8-year-old and my 5-year-old, to go. I think it's really important to learn our language, to learn more about our history, our culture, because it keeps our community strong. And so I'm really happy that the Korean community here is doing that and creating such a strong and vibrant community. And we're doing the same in the Greek community as well.
What role do you think that the ethnic communities in Alberta can play? I was born and raised in Alberta, but sometimes I just feel like our community is too small of a community to make a difference. How do you think we can be heard?
Yeah, it's a very good question. If I can draw some similarities, I think the Greek community as well is quite small. But I would say that regardless of size, there's lots of ways for the community to be involved. Speaking as someone who's been in an elected position for the past 4 years, I would encourage members of the community to get involved. There are lots of ways to get involved. You can buy a party membership, you can visit a party conference or AGM. Members of your community can run in the provincial election or in other elections. and there's many opportunities to get involved, and I'm always happy to help. If there are any members of the Korean community who want to find ways to get more involved or even consider running one day, I would be very happy to offer any assistance that I can.
What I keep hearing from my friends and my teachers is that the UCP government is cutting budget for schools and universities, making it harder to obtain quality education. Is this true? And what would you say to that?
You know, for kindergarten to grade 12, we've worked hard to keep the budget whole. We haven't made any reductions. We haven't made any cuts to funding for K to 12. In fact, the budget that we just passed a month ago includes a lot of new funding for K to 12. It includes money to hire more bus drivers. It includes here in Calgary funding for 11 new school projects here in the city of Calgary, because we want the very best for our kids. We want to make sure they're learning the best possible curriculum that they can, and that they have the most resources that are needed in the system to help them get a very high quality education. With our universities and colleges, over the last few years, we have, yes, had to adjust the funding level that we give to our universities and colleges. There's two main reasons for that. One of the main reasons is because when we were elected 4 years ago, we committed to getting the province's finances under control, and we provide over $2 billion in funding to our universities and colleges. So we had to take a close look at how much funding we were providing there. In addition, when we looked at funding levels for our universities and colleges in comparison to other universities across Canada, our universities in Alberta were receiving the highest level of funding. But that being said, we are making a lot of new investments now that we have gotten the finances of the province under control. We are putting approximately $500 million in new funding to our colleges and universities to create more spaces for high demand programs like nursing, engineering, and we've created new scholarships and really being targeted and specific about how we can support our universities and colleges.
All right, thank you. I personally have met a lot of Korean engineers, nurses, and professionals that work in completely different fields now that they're in Canada because their education or experience is not recognized in Canada. Is there anything you can do to help with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that's very important to the United Conservative Party and to our government. In 2019, we passed a new legislation to ensure the fair treatment of newcomers, because what you just described happens a lot, and it shouldn't be happening, and it's unfair to a lot of people. And we created the Fairness for Newcomers office as well. Some of the things that we've been doing over the past couple of years has been to help these individuals get credentialed a lot faster. As an example, I've been doing some work with internationally educated nurses. I remember a couple weeks ago, I was speaking to an internationally educated nurse from Lebanon. She was trained as a nurse in Lebanon. She was here and she had to wait 5 years before she could get into the bridging program. And I know lots of other people and other professionals are having to do that. So we took action. We put more funding to those programs so that they can hire more instructors. So the wait list can go from 5 years to 0. That's our goal. With nurses as well, we also created a new scholarship because there's a lot of cost with participating in that program. That's specifically with nursing, but we are looking at other areas with doctors, with engineers, and with other areas because we want to make sure that people who have chosen to come to Alberta are able to practice at their highest possible skill level.
If you are re-elected, what will your main focus be?
Well, it's a good question. If re-elected, one of the things that I want to continue to focus the most on is making sure Alberta is a strong province economically. When we were first elected in 2019, we had to clean up the NDP's mess. There was, as I mentioned before, a lot of mismanagement. We were spending way beyond our means. They were also raising taxes, and as a consequence of their actions, investment was leaving the province, businesses were closing down, and people started leaving the province. And that's not the Alberta I know. I'm a born and raised Calgarian, and I've always known Alberta to be a place of opportunity, a place of hope, a place that attracts people from around Canada and around the world, people who want to come here to get ahead. And so for the last 4 years, we've worked hard as a government to get our finances under control, to attract investment, to lower taxes. We've delivered. We've been very successful in doing that. And new investment is starting to come back in some very exciting ways. People are starting to flood back. In last year alone, 30,000 people moved from BC to Alberta just last year. And there's a lot of very positive things happening. So if re-elected, one of my main goals is going to be to keep Alberta moving forward, to keep our province operating as that place of hope and opportunity.
And where can we find out more about you and the election next month?
Well, I think the best place that you can find out more about me is my website. That's demetriosnicolaides.com. There's a lot of information there about who I am, my background, things that I've been working on, and of course, lots of information there about the election. Just for folks watching, of course, the election will be taking place on May 29th. Your vote and your participation in the election is critically important. Sometimes I hear from people, they say that, my vote doesn't really matter or doesn't really make a difference in the big scheme of things. Nothing could be further from the truth. Every vote is critically important. I remember in 2015, in Calgary-Bow, in our riding, 200 votes made the difference and decided who the winner was going to be. And also in 2015, in another part of Calgary, 6 votes decided the winner. So every vote is critically important. Your participation is important. So I would encourage everyone to mark that day down and make sure that they get out and vote on election day.
Once again, thank you very much for your time today. Do you have any last comments for the Koreans in Alberta?
Well, thank you very much, first and foremost, and congratulations again on your incredible Korean. I hope, as I said, when my daughters get to your age, that they're able to speak as fluently in Greek as you do in Korean. I think last comments to Koreans here in Alberta. I think I would say that with the United Conservative Party, you have a party and a government who understands your community, who understands what you are looking for, and I believe that is a government and a province who helps you succeed, who helps you thrive, who values the importance of community, of family, of high quality education, and of choice in education. And with a United Conservative government, you can count on us to continue to be supporters of Alberta's Korean community. And me personally, I will always continue to be a champion for the Korean community here in Alberta. And if there's anything that I or the United Conservative Party can do to help your community and to help all of you, we're here at your disposal.
All right. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you again.